Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Oh, I had to go close the door real quick. How have you been doing?
Pretty great. Uh, I'm getting a lot better because of the advice that I've been getting and because I've been playing a lot.
Good, good. I haven't been playing.
Yeah, I know you're kind of like taking Smash out of your life, isn't that right?
Yeah, more like I'm. How do I say this? I'm taking excessive playtime out of my life.
I see.
Smash. I still coach a few guys here and there, and but I don't really spend too much time on Smash. I don't watch the VODs, or I haven't even updated the playlist in a long time.
Yeah, I see. I see.
But tell me what have you been realizing these days?
Just recently I've been trying to get like more into anchor point theory. I've had a couple like online friend sessions with people because I can't really
Hmm.
play offline here in Alaska. But I think I'm really starting to like see different ways that um, that anchor point theory lets Snake control the stage. Like I've always known for a long time that Snake has been a very powerful character, but the methodology that anchor point theory forces me to look through makes it so that it's really easy for me to find opportunities to control the stage and capitalize on the way that the opponent has to play around with the stage control that I've
Hmm.
got.
Correct, because I thought about it for a long, long time. And back then, when I was a Smash fiend,
Uh-huh.
I literally poured through all the VODs, or at least the ones that mattered. Like I was watching them. I was watching all of them. That was at least a year and a half ago. I was analyzing Dio's sets, Shogun sets, and when Shogun kind of popping out of everybody else's sets. I was like, oh, there's crazy things happening, but nobody's trying to explain it. And guess what? I started trying to explain it.
And that's where anchor point theory, the methodology came from.
Yeah, yep. Because it was mostly the Japanese guys. They're like doing stuff. I'm like, wait, why are they doing this? Why are we not doing this? And how the heck do I do this?
Right, right.
And then boom, there's anchor point theory. And then Nog was like, wait a second, this is real. This is really good. And it all took off from there. But these days, I think it's the top snakes are not like actively studying it. At least Kronos is trying to take a break from it, focusing on the more fundamental things, which is fine. But it's okay. He's still good at doing it because I've drilled it into him enough times for it to be subconscious in his psyche.
He agrees then?
No, he doesn't. I don't want to talk because he doesn't want to talk too much about it. I was like, I already know it's there. It's in his gameplay. It has always been in his gameplay ever since I started coaching him.
I see.
Whether he acknowledges that or not is another thing entirely, though. Because I actually do not coach him like every week or every other week. In fact, I don't coach him a lot. But when I do coach him, I do give him a lot of info for him to work with. At
So,
least that's how I teach people in Smash. Yeah, go on.
I wanted to talk a lot about where you think Snake could be pushed further. Um,
Hmm.
I've talked a little bit with a colleague after the few chances that I've gotten to talk with him. Um,
Right.
we said like the biggest thing that Snake has to do up optimize outside of like grenade control and like seeing it mix up stuff is that there's a lot of niche situations that if Snake knows how to control the situation, then he can get a lot out of it. But an example he used was forward smash 2 frames, which are really important on space animal matchups, as well as tiger animals.
Correct.
Because they're pretty difficult evens without that, and with that, the matchup really becomes a lot easier if you can get that more or less consistently, and just having a threat that makes it a lot more pressure on Snake's favor.
Where else can we optimize? I actually believe there's two main things we really should optimize. Nikita usage outside of edge guarding.
Okay.
So we like how we use it in neutral, how we use it in disadvantage. That one's more niche, but we still can do it. Nikita combos. We need to do them more. Some Nikita combos are like Nikita fair. That's for less trapping, but we might be able to do it in neutral. That's a theory I've had at the back of my head for a while. Nikita in neutral is tough, but it's possible to condition into with the help of excellent grenade control and forcing your opponent to be at bay. Then you can potentially set up something longer. But this is very niche, so that's why it's not like at the super top of my list back then. But at this point, we can try delving into it.
Okay. I have a capture card set up. I think I can stream to you, and we can
Yeah, sure.
take a look at some situations.
Oh, that'll be great. Also, the other thing is becoming the projectile. Has Lauk talked to you about this? Because we have talked about it.
I saw the 20 MGX post.
Yes, that is exactly what we need to learn how to do, but not exact. That one's with C4, which is a bit different. What I'm talking about specifically when I say become a projectile is with grenades. So in those situations where Snake is like when we pull a grenade and we both get launched by the grenade because the opponent hits it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those situations.
We need to learn how to control that. Unfortunately, we don't have too much to control over it except for direction and potentially chasing DI. But I did figure out a kind of ratio, which is if your damage is about half of the opponent's damage, and you both get launched by the same grenade at the same direction, you can most likely true combo into an up air.
Yeah, I've thought a bit about positions like this where you can like back air them, and usually I missed it because I double jump. But like
Right. So, but it's more useful in kill situations, obviously.
okay. Yeah. Something I've been trying to work on is like my positions where I'm holding the grenade. Because you notice like the different animations that Snake does. Because the way the grenade works is that when you get hit by it, you turn around and face the grenade. So like if you double jump, he switches. The grenade crosses up on you, so it's behind you on the left stage, so you'll do back air. But if you double jump on stage, then you
get sent into stage.
Then you're
Oh yeah, you're right. Because of the way his hands move.
Yeah.
Or,
And so it's useful to know that for certain grenade recoveries, when you grab it, you can force yourself to DI into the stage, but only if the grenade hits you on the left. Otherwise, the best
mm-hmm.
you're going to get is straight up.
Right.
A few times I like F-focused and then grenades I just felt into the air.
Hmm.
Because yeah, that's another thing with this is because after Snake's hands are behind him, the one that holds the item is behind him, so he gets to
Hmm.
move backwards like that.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Unfortunately, I think it's where you are, but the stream's a bit choppy for me.
I think it might be the method I stream it with. Maybe I can
Yeah.
do. I can't stream my recording software, unfortunately.
But it happens.
Hmm.
It's all right though. I could still gather what you were trying to do.
Okay. So there's becoming the grenade or become the projectile.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There's Nikita and
Becoming a
neutral and disadvantage.
projectile. Yes. And maybe falling up air combos.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see like how consistently that kills. Um, I've also
Falling up air back air.
yeah, that's crazy to me. It's something I've been doing in some situations. Is like if we're just like sparring and we're doing air to air, and I can get a read on their positioning, then I can hit them with weak up air. It sort of like drags them
Hmm.
down in a weird way that most people don't expect. Not like that, but like it's hard to demonstrate.
I kind of get what you mean.
Like, I'll see if I can get it off a grenade. Oh, that's my control set. I think that might be too high. Maybe it's off C4. Yeah, I kind of like that. We're falling up there like...
Hmm.
I guess it's not really a drag down, but it does put you with a lot of...
It's a it's a horizontal-ish angle, which makes it so good.
Oh yeah, kind of sends them out. I think that was strong, waste of up air. Like the waste of box of weak up air should...
Yeah, I didn't really lap too much because I kept forgetting about it. But I do know it's pretty good. Like back air, these up air combos are pretty good, even just damage wise.
Yeah, this is surprising. The weak hit of up air is 12%. It's like really good.
And you can probably true combo it. I don't know if it true combos into a sticky though. Probably not. I might have asked who that a long time ago.
Sticky is frame 8 and back air is frame 7. If you can do up air back air, I think I asked about that, but it's like positioning that makes it hard. It's a
Yeah, correct. Positioning is like the Plus the fact that you're drifting and sometimes it makes it hard to do precise stickies.
Right.
Oh.
You can do like
Wait, since what is it? Falling up air nair is true, and nair is what, frame 10?
right.
So I think sticky is true, but it's hard.
It's the positioning again. Like it's such a small hitbox. So
It's hard to line up. Yeah, it really is hard to line up.
maybe like a dash sticky or turn around.
Hmm.
Pink rolls like really big, so probably a tough connect.
Yeah, for him it's easy. Yeah, we can do stupid stuff like that.
So falling up air has more optimization.
Yeah, I've thought about these three for the longest while. So they're like on top of my list. Matchups are like a time-based thing, but these are like these three I mentioned, they require people to actually try.
We need people working on this.
Yeah, there at one point I wanted to do I had a project with Ritual and MVD we were going to do about talk about Nikita, but so far I haven't done much yet. Because now that the direction of my life has kind of changed, so these days I haven't been doing that much Smash and Ritual. Ritual has school, I think.
I see.
So we were like, oh well, such is life. Hmm. Cipher optimizations, we've kind of known for a while what to do with Cipher. But those are very hard to get. Like Cipher combos.
Oh right, I remember seeing like Cypher and Sticky up Smash at Ledge.
That was a who that thing, I think.
Yeah, I think it was it.
Fun fact, I beat who that in the Snake Diddle once.
You did?
It was for fun, but it wasn't for fun. It was a format free for all CQC only Snake Diddle.
Who else was playing?
uh, Valentino who retired, and the other guy also retired. So we were just messing around, and then it got to the point where only me and Kuda were left, and I beat him. I was like, wait, I beat Kuda, let's go. But he's definitely the better player. Wait, what did you do?
I got grenade into falling up air into rising up air, and it was true. It was a 3-hit.
Oh yeah, it is true. It position dependent, completely position dependent.
Yeah, I suspect on Battlefield it's the best.
Yeah, Battlefield is only on Battlefield you can get these snake ladders. Illegal and disgusting stage. I'm sorry, Log.
I'm beginning to think it's good for Snake.
Do not. Log is my brother in Snake, but you do not listen to his lies about Yoshi. I'm sorry. But yeah, the fun fact, the one time I participated in an online tournament, I think I won it.
You won the tournament?
No, not the tournament. I won on Yoshi's. Took a wolf there, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or the wolf took me there. It was a long time ago.
I recently beat a wolf on reviews, but
I feel like I only won because of matchup inexperience though. That guy had no idea what to do against me.
I think I won because the guy doesn't really play Smash.
Man. Ah, it happened.
Like he's played Smash. He was good for a while, but he like doesn't care anymore. He wanted to. I think he was bored. He wanted to go play Street Fighter, so he switched to Ganondorf and like practically SD'd.
Oh, he gave you a free win basically.
He was trying for a little while, but like he didn't want to have to deal with Snake stuff.
His heart was not in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with how online is, it is kind of hard to like Smash, especially if you only play online. And for me, that's basically what I do. I don't feel like competing that much anymore. And my Saturdays are where when the locals there are locals, I'm usually not able to go because I have other commitments. But it's okay though. The Malaysian players, they do know about me and they respect my skill enough. And I'm content with coaching people. Oh my, look, they're doing all these nice things. I'm not the most technical player, sadly, so I cannot like do too many. I can't really do too many of these more precise inputs.
I remember like watching a lot of high input intensity snakes and thinking like that must be really hard. Like I see like Havoc doing himself up and tech jumping off stage, doing that.
Oh yes, Havoc's different.
Havoc is different.
Literally built different. Havoc is built different. I don't know how a guy who has never stepped foot in the lab for more than 10 hours in the entirety of his Smash life pull off all these kinds of crazy shit and manage to get tips for it. I don't know how he does it, but he does. He just does it.
I think like I only get to see like his clips, but like a few times I have played him, it seems like he just really likes holding forward.
Yes, he told me. He explicitly told me that is his greatest downfall. But he says he doesn't care because he is the clip farmer.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, you don't compete as much. He has competed before. And I do in my playlist. There are some of his bars, yes, but in the competitive setting, he doesn't like hold forward as much. I've seen it before. It's mostly his advantage state that gets him like crazy things. And unfortunately, I think the Japanese Havoc doesn't play anymore.
Japanese Havoc?
His tag is Kocha.
Oh.
And he was doing a lot of the things Havoc did. I don't know if he labs or not, but I call him Japanese Havoc because they produce similar clips.
I see.
But hey, mimicry in the context of Smash, mimicry is considered flattering. And he didn't claim to originate any of these, so I was like, well, why not?
Japanese snake copied Havoc?
Yes, the Japanese snakes, they do like Havoc. Oh yeah, I can tell you about how I got into talking to that many Japanese snakes. You know what happened?
Oh,
So one time I was playing Havoc. He hosted. He put it. He put an arena and its code on Twitter. So naturally I joined, and then all of a sudden, this Japanese snake, this snake with a Japanese name with a somewhat laggy connection, joins, beats the shit out of me, and then takes a game of Havoc. And I'm like, wait a second, what is going on? And then later, said Snake replies on Havoc tweet, I think. It's been a long time, I don't remember exactly. And then I became neutral to the Snake, blah blah blah. And it all took off from there. I started getting to know more Japanese snakes slowly. Because like Havoc didn't, and then that snake he rated Havoc quite highly on Smashmate, using Smashmate score. The Elo score, I think, at least 1,000. It was quite high. So that snake, he took a game of Havoc, right? And then he never took another game again. Havoc adapted and he beat his ass. I was like, damn. And that was how the Japanese got to like Havoc a lot more, and how I got to like, and how I got to talk to more Japanese snakes. And eventually getting the deal followed.
that's pretty huge.
Yeah, so I might not be the most technical snake out there, but the guys don't deny that I bridge the communities one way or another.
You definitely have. I feel like a lot of Snake players in the Discord wouldn't know about the Japanese nearly as much. Certainly I would.
Yeah, back then, they were all focused on Shogun.
Right.
And then later Dio started making moves again, and then I was like, damn, this guy's great. I need to talk to him. So I started doing that on Twitter, and then slowly after getting the Dio follow, more snakes started following me back. And then I got to watch the freaking Kotatsu versus Kotatsu first to 10. And that got me access to like Dio's friend, like the other snakes in Dio's area, and a couple others.
Was that streamed?
That was streamed. For a while it was actually private, but now it's somehow back. Because I think there's two Katatsus. One is the snake main, one is a former Lucina main, currently wolf main. So they were fighting for the tag.
Yeah, I see.
And that was one of the three snakes that inspired anchor point theory, because Kotatsu's anchor point theory back then was highly focused on movement. And the most unique at that time. So I watched it, I saw the whole thing, and then I pinged Zeke, and I was like, Zeke, watch this, I know you'll fall in love with this. And then he's like, shit, you're right, this is great. And then all of that, and I found Hurt. Later I found Hurt, and now Hurt's making big moves.
Yeah, I'm seeing her getting better recently. Awesome.
I don't know how Hurt does it. Oh my goodness.
See much different.
But yeah, I haven't actually watched him play. I do have to do that. Maybe this Sunday, if I have time, or tomorrow, something like that. But yeah, he's crazy. Winning a friggin' huge tournament like that. And getting second in another one, crazy. And they say Snake won't and they say Snake wouldn't succeed in Japan. People who say that, they're stupid. They have no idea what the snakes in Japan are fighting every single week. But yeah, like 2021, it was a whole long time of just dialogue and then bridging the gap. And then last year, it was more like techniques. If you like checked, it was more like us discovering techniques like feint tossing. What else did we discover? Oh, and priming, Nikita priming, which was pretty okay. And then Log doing more turn nades and Zeke shitting out movement clips.
Zeke was one of my biggest
He's the only
inspirations.
he's the only guy doing stuff like that. Actually doing it in tournament. Log can do it. He does it differently, I guess. Log's movement is entirely different. They have differing philosophies. Mostly because they both came from very different starting points.
What do you mean by that?
Zeke's premise back then was that technique was how you got better. Mastering techniques and tricks was how you would win. Unfortunately, he came to find out that that wasn't true. You do not get better. You do not get better by mastering. You do not get better by mastering znade, Z drop, wave bounce C4, platform drop, Z drop, shield, and then jump forward nade or whatever. You do not get better by mastering these things. You get better. You do get better at doing these things, but you do not. You overall will not get better by repeatedly practicing a technique on a static dummy. It is the exact same way that it is the exact same reason why some traditional martial artists, they do not know how to fight, because they have done is strike a solid unmoving dummy, a punching bag, or a non-resisting opponent. That was what Zeke went by back then, and he slowly I told him, Zeke, you cannot just do this. You can do all this stuff, which is great, and I'm happy that you can, because we do need people who can do crazy things. But you also need fundies. To his credit, he is starting to do more fundy stuff. He is starting to learn how to read people, how to understand game plans, and so on and so forth. And that is good for him, but he has effectively handicapped himself from winning, achieving results. Whereas Log, who is technical in a different way, is fundamentally quite sound. And he knows how to fight without relying on techniques working. Because Zeke's dominant game plan back then was to let people fall for his crazy movement shenanigans, and then get blown up by a Z-Nate combo and then kill. Nothing wrong with that inherently, but if you only know how to do that, there's a reason why he didn't do very well in tournaments. And it's also the reason why Scream got mad at him in the first place. So there you have it, why these two players who are quite technical, they have they have such a drastically different uh, they have such drastically different results and experiences. Obviously, I follow the principle that if you want to master a technical character, you must understand how to play the simplest ways possible. And the simplest way possible to play Snake is to break every technique you know down and split it into parts and try and apply something or another on a resisting opponent. Whether you fail it or not does not matter. The, the point is that you need to fight an opponent that resists, otherwise, you will not learn the nuances of landing a technique. And that is what I think every snake should be focusing on. And that is also why I tell people when I coach them, no matter if they play snake or not, to forget.
Forget what they know.
Well, not permanently forgetting what they know. What I tell them is, you are fighting in the moment. You are fighting a live person. You must focus on the now. You do not focus on the what could have been, and you obviously don't focus on the what will happen too much. Of course, you need to read people. That is obviously important, but you need to react too. And you can have all the strategies planned out you want, but if it fails, then what are you going to do about it? That is a question that some people don't know how to answer. Like, do you know how to play without? Do you know how to play without sticking to a game plan? Do you know how to play when your game plan fails? Do you know how to construct a new game plan? That is what we should all ask ourselves. Can you break yourself? Can you break your current game plan down or your current actions down, and then decide on what to do next? Obviously, you can have modular game plans. That's what I also taught Chronos how to do, which is to have triggers for game plans.
Oh, I see.
Because if you have triggers for various game plans, it makes it easier to switch. But it doesn't mean you need to focus. You need to be fixed to those triggers or fixed to those game plans. Sometimes you need to improvise. And fundies and general game knowledge are what allow you to improvise. Like, you might not. Maybe some interactions work because of the character's peculiarities. That is not something you can always lab out. It is something that is experienced. Like, say, how does up tilt react when it clanks with Lucina F tilt, for example? Snake up tilt clanking with Lucina F tilt. What happens? Well, it clanks. It doesn't even trade. Snake broken, by the way. So what do you do? Do you know what to do after that? Well, you can either run away or you punish that if you're close enough. But spacing is another thing.
I would either throw out jab if she's close enough, but just jab one unless it hits, and
Right.
if she's not close enough, I would down tilt.
Right.
Because that also clanks and it's super fast.
Indeed. But there are times when you're not facing her. Sometimes it even clanks from the other side. Like I said, Snake's broken.
You can do turnaround down tilt.
Correct. Some people, though, they are less adept at doing that. So sometimes I just tell them to F tilt. Which is fine. But yes, you're correct. all these small interactions, Zeke cannot. Zeke obviously cannot plan out the lab every single interaction known to man or unknown to man. So experience is the best teacher, and sometimes you just have to accept. You just have to practice without. Sometimes you just have to practice, and then let's see what you can learn. Now, of course, I do agree with Zeke that Elite Smash is great practice. Because here, you need to have a particular mindset to learn from Elite Smash. Not everyone can do it. I don't presume everyone can do it. And if somebody doesn't want to do it, then whatever, you can do whatever you want. You are your own person. Also, what else was I thinking again? I was thinking about something. Whatever. I think it's not that. I think I couldn't remember. But for you, I believe when you practice, just don't force practice. Sometimes you learn things unexpectedly, and let it be. No matter if you play Elite Smash, no matter if you play Elite Smash or you play friendly with a person, don't force yourself to want to hit something. If it comes naturally, so be it. If it doesn't, then try your best again. Because practice is practice. You're expected to fail. If you don't fail, then it's not practice. And the point of practice is to land things. And the more you land it, the better you are at doing it. Whether it's in the lab or on a resistant opponent.
Point of practice is to identify what you learn, right?
Correct. What you can learn and what needs to be improved on. Like, say maybe today your advantage state was a little rusty, and you might find, hey, what can I do about this? And then, after you take a break, by break I mean in the same day or maybe the day after. So you figure out how to practice your solutions. It's all questions and solutions. You ask yourself questions, or you ask your friend questions, or your coach. And then when you get answers, either divining them on your own or you get them from your friend or coach, then you put them into practice. That is the point of fighting an opponent. Because if you can't figure out what's wrong with yourself, then there's something wrong. There's definitely an issue much deeper than just fatigue, lack of sleep, or whatever, or matchup inexperience. And when it comes to you, because you are still learning, and I don't think you are ready to coach that many people yet. Learning how to coach comes in time, at least for me.
There's someone, a casual player, reached out to me and said that he would pay me to coach him, but I'm not really sure what I can provide, like how I would help that.
Right, I understand what you're saying, because coaching is not easy. Everybody coaches differently. Everybody receives coaching differently. Figuring that out takes a long time. I think you can coach, but maybe not yet. I'm saying maybe because I cannot tell yet. There are many factors, but I do have high hopes for you for coaching because I've seen you help out people in Snake Chat before. Frankly, that's how I started too. It all starts by analyzing people. That was what I did. I analyzed a whole ton of VODs, and then I started to figure out what works and what doesn't, and how to make things work, and how to decipher things. Mostly, what I learned from watching VODs is to understand the intent behind some people's decisions. Obviously, we cannot know for sure what a person's intent is just by watching a VOD, but we can gather quite a lot of data, right? So focus on like learning intent, learning intentions, like both your intention and the opponent's intentions. But sometimes you don't know what you're doing, especially when you're tired, and that's okay. You still need to be slightly aware about it, though. Like when you watch a VOD of Kage cooking nades a particular way, say, hey, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? What does he want? And then slowly, the more you know, the more you start getting these things, the sooner you are. I mean, the closer you are to getting to know how to coach somebody. Because coaching is all about reading intentions. Like when you play a guy, right? Like, oh, you're punishing a habit. The only way you punish it was because you understood why this person was doing that. And it all comes by intentions. And all of that comes also from practicing against other people. Because if you've seen the same scenario more than 3 times, then you likely would know what it's for. So take your time, study whatever you can, and then you will slowly know how to coach people. Because you're a very thorough person. You know what to look for and how to look for things. What I think you mostly lack now is just experience. Whether it's experience in fighting people. I only compensated because I did play a lot of Elite Smash. 2, I did an obscene amount of analysis. But you have the better tool, which is fighting people. Like the more you fight log or whatever, the better you improve. And when you improve, you understand. The more you understand, the better you can. The easier it is to coach. So a lot of Snake is just understanding. Understanding situations, understanding limitations, understanding the potential of every action.
The reward you get off certain moves?
Correct.
Okay.
Or just by your pure movement. What can you do with movement? You can bait. And what goes from there? Limitless potential. And what do you want to do about it? Your choice. So all of this stuff is all hard-earned knowledge. Plus talking to a bunch of people. I've been back then Snake Court, we had a bunch of pretty cool lab team members, but a lot of them are gone. Like you might have seen the name JJ Static somewhere. think he's gone. The snake called Lorimir doesn't play the game that much anymore. Probably doesn't play anymore. Wizard Buff is also gone. I played a lot with JJ, and he was the one who taught me a lot of basic stuff. And SK back then played the game a lot more, and SK is quite good. And back then, Knight played the game a lot too. We would just beat each other up. I played Zeke less, but I did play him a couple of times too. Zeke is great. Oh, also Tin. I occasionally play Tin. And Will. But then the servers changed quite a lot since 2000, the second half of 2001. A lot of things happened. People leaving, people coming in, etc. But our metagame is still as healthy as ever. In fact, I think like we only like the Rob community and the Greninja community are like definitely better than us when it comes to labbing. Though I will say it's partially because Snake has too much to do that it's better off we started theorizing instead. That's where I came in. Because everyone was trying to lab out interactions, and I was like, what? I started asking the what ifs. And I guess people appreciated me for that because anchor point theory is quite successful. Now we will just have to see if there are is there any more new tech. Frankly, I don't think there might be any in this next few months. Although Hertz's recent combo of a nade falling upair in air is quite good, so hey, that's pretty neat. Okay, I think I've imparted quite a bit of knowledge and history on you. Do you still got any other questions?
What do you think are Snake's biggest limitations?
Good question. As in results or like techniques? Okay. Frankly, the fact that he cannot jump that high is a pain in the ass, but we fight with what we get. But generally, I think general gameplay wise, it's because of the limitless number of actions we can do. Because people are like, what do I do with Snake? Everybody asks, what do I do with Snake? What do I do with Snake? He's so hard to play. So the limitations are also his greatest strengths, which is that he has so many options. Sometimes it's difficult to choose them. While this allows for extreme amounts of creativity, it does also make basic mastery a longer journey. And after basic mastery of the character, you have advanced techniques, which are quite hard to pull off in the match sometimes unless you practice a lot. So the limitations His limitations are his unlimited potential, strangely enough. It can be overcome though by sheer amount of practice and experience, theory crafting, and the use of systems like anchor point theory. Freaking anchor point theory was designed precisely to understand Japanese Snake gameplay. So why not expand that to understand all of Snake gameplay? Or even all of Ultimate in general. There will always be limitations with Snake, yes.
I'm thinking of like putting together all the resources for Snake because there's a lot of like hints and stuff and like different
Right.
But
it's kind of what the Snake Bible is for, but that's gonna take a long ass time.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something already in the works. Log is doing whatever he can. But yes, limitations. Partially also the fact that he's so freaking difficult. Like even the basic stuff with Snake is easy at first until you realize that the potential that comes after you do the basic stuff is so much that you need to develop all kinds of variants, all kinds of counterplay, all kinds of new patterns just to. And you still have, and then even after you develop a few more patterns, you're like, wait, what if I didn't do that instead? And then you have fallen back to square one. Such is love and life. Correct. It is actually overthinking is actually one of our biggest problems. Sometimes Apollo, AK, he overthinks sometimes. AK is a bit of a living contradiction, but obviously I don't say this to disparage him. He's the best Snake alive right now. But the way I think AK's biggest weakness is he hates. He has a very strange relationship with grenades, believe it or not. He advocates, he says, I want to play grenades my own way. Oh, which is great. I don't care. But what is his own way of playing grenades? He rides on the assumption that the grenade he uses will work. Now these days he's a bit better at it, but back then if you notice his older VODs, you would see that after he tosses a grenade, he would go in, or he would go back, either offensive defense, and assume it will work. He has no backup plan. Or his backup plans are just not so apparent to me because they did not work. And he doesn't like anchor points. He thinks he's just like, I just be doing my thing. So that's why I'm like, I don't talk about anchor points too much with him. I just tell him that you can do this, bro. It's like, I just tell him you can do A or B instead of C. And C works because of this and that. That's how he understands. And then you have people who, like Shogun, who kind of overthinks. Shogun is so cerebral. He overthinks a lot, and then he forgets to do the simplest things. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, he sets up for good stuff, and when the good stuff lands, you're like so happy it does. But when it doesn't, we're like, you could have done this instead. But he did not. So that is overthinking in a different way, the more cerebral way. AK is just trying to follow his gut. But at the same time, he also wants to engage his brain, so there's this kind of semi-conflict. Because the way he thinks is sometimes not optimal, in my opinion. He wants something, but he's not willing. I feel like he's not willing to play less committal, because the point of anchor point theory is that you do not have to play too committal with your grenades, and that's why AK does not move the way Dio does, because he used to be quite incapable of doing that at all. And also that was the reason why he used to think that Snake lost to Samus. So, and then I was like, my brother in Snake, just watch Dio and mimic the movements for a bit, and learn how to condition with movement. And so he did, and then he's like, wait a second, it's working. He ran to Samus on Elite Smash after doing VAR reviews with me and Log talking to him a bit about it. And then he started doing those things. It started working. And now what happened? He's forgotten all about it. He says he's willing to learn, but he's also quite stubborn. And that was specific. That is why when I coach Chromos, I always tell him, you cannot be stubborn. You can be insistent, but if you want to only play your way, is that not self-limitation? So yeah, keep that in mind.
I do think it's really important to change.
Correct. It's not, well, if it works, yes. But if something, but change is, obviously too much change is bad. But if you need to change, then you must change. That is something some people refuse to acknowledge. It's also kind of why MVD was struggling for the longest time, because he also refused to change. He insisted on playing his way only. In fact, he refused to do znades for a long time. He thinks they were overrated. And guess what? Now he does some znades. And his CQC improved. Although you can still tell it's MVD because of the way he plays. But that is how things are. But that is exactly why Snake is so. That's why Snake. Those are Snake's that's Snake's main limitation. Sometimes people don't know how to think when using him. There is a way to play him that's optimal, which is, and it's not to be formless. The idea of formlessness is kind of self-contradictory, because we all have our own forms of Snake gameplay. What we need to do is to learn how to make our forms as all-encompassing as possible, having sub-forms, while also giving yourself the opportunity to improvise, because we cannot account for everything. It is impossible. We can only account for, we are human beings, we can only account for so much. But what makes us different from the animals is that we are thinking creatures we are thinking creatures that can process the unknown. And being willing to process the being able to being able to expect the unknown and then ponder upon the unknown. Like say you've never seen this, you don't know how to fight this playstyle. What do? You you figure it out by fighting it, and then it slowly becomes from unknown to a known quantity. Adaptation, basically. Animals adapt too, but one, they do it slower. Two, animals are still predominantly instinctive beings, right? Like look at the sea turtles. They lay their eggs on the shore, even though they, even though they know it's dangerous, but they have been doing it for thousands of years. And migratory birds, they always fly. They usually fly the same paths, even though the habitat may be somewhat dangerous from a human intervention or whatever, but they still do it. We're humans. You gotta learn how to adapt. Now the problem is, are people willing to adapt to the current? Are people willing to adapt to the metagame's changes? Are people willing to say take their time to understand where potential shortcomings in their own play are and be willing to put down any self pride in their own play style? Are they willing to put temporarily set aside what makes them unique among the snakes and learn so that they can improve their own playstyle and then come back to it later? That's something that I believe Shogun prior to retirement slowly realized. And that was why Shogun later decided to learn to like do CQC that's closer to Dio's kind of CQC. And that was also why he started getting great results again before he retired. Like what you see me refer to current Shogun in the past, right?
I don't think so.
I'm mostly on Twitter, like or sometimes on Snakeport too. But back a couple of months ago, I was starting to refer to that that phase of Shogun's gameplay as current Shogun or new Shogun because he changed again. He had like three main periods of metamorphosis. One was when he fought Samsora and showed us how good znades were. The other was when his CQC got a lot better. And third was before his retirement, he was starting to take names again. And trust. And that's something Apollo Kage struggled with. Because he wants to stay himself. Which is fine. But you can still stay yourself even as you add new elements to your gameplay. He thinks he plays Snake based on comfort sometimes. Like he's not the most technical Snake. I am not too, but I am willing to learn some techniques here and there and embrace change to my playstyle. And that is what I think you should be. I think what you should do. It will set you apart from most snakes out there. The willingness to change is what sets Dio out there too. Like, sure, Dio always looks like Dio, but he does change, and he has changed quite a bit. He's went through a few different phases of playstyle. Like there was one point where he played so much like Ally, I thought Ally was on screen. And but nowadays I'm not so sure. I haven't watched the VODs as of a few months ago. But last time I was paying more attention, he was doing a very good hybrid of zoning and boxing delving that threaten a lot kinds of opponents. Dio's weakness is mostly the fact that sometimes his disadvantage is so good that he always does the optimal option. And then Yoshidara kills him for it. Or he had, or sometimes he just he gets too tired. And he holds forward.
Something I thought about is like different game plans require different energy levels. So they might be really
Correct.
strong, like it might be easier to wear yourself out because of how much effort you're putting into winning interactions.
Mm-hmm. That's why I designed anchor point theory. So you don't have to do the thinking. Okay,
Yeah.
not completely.
Yeah,
Not that you shouldn't.
it's not like you're not thinking, but when you have a system to think in, like directing your thought patterns helps a lot with conserving energy.
Yep, that's why. That's why you need. That's why conserving energy is so important. Look at Look at these people who play Snake. They're like, oh, I got tired. Yeah, you did because you kept thinking. Sometimes you just have to react, and you don't have to think too much. Like think about it. Why does down why does F tilt one turn around up tilt one? Because it does. Right? Because it does. Right? Why do good players not do anything after down throw sometimes? Because they just do that. Why does grenade hit people? Well, it does. And so on and so forth. Obviously, you need to train your autopilot to a higher degree, which is what Elite Smash is great for, actually. Because if you can consistently maintain a good autopilot in Elite Smash, that means you have a very solid and well thought out plan that's worthy of attention. Okay, it was almost 4:30 on my end. I think I will stop here then because I've given you a lot of information.
Thank you so much for calling. I'll definitely use
No problem.
a lot of this. I hope to push the snake meta further eventually.
Of course, I'm still going to help push, but in a lower frequency. But I'm still here. I still help people out. Recently, there have been a couple of guys talking to me, so yeah, I gave them my advice, and they liked it. So you need to, if you have questions, you can ask the two of us, and then we will try and help you out.
I saw you play the point here.
Yes.
I think I have a basic grasp of it, both in concept and in effect. I got to play these a couple nights ago. It's very good, and sort of especially. It's like
Exactly.
The way that she has to play is so linear, especially when you're applying anchor-point theory to control different points on the stage. It's very strong. It's clearly very strong.
Okay,
Yeah. Talk to you later. Go have a good rest of your day, and we'll sleep soon.
no, wait, let me find you that VOD I was talking about.
Oh yeah, please send it to me.
And,
So
Kotatsu, I'm trying to find it.
I think I know where it is. I think I can find it.
Oh, I found it again. No, wait, that's not copy message link. Yeah, so part of APT was already from Snake versus Lucina. So there you go. You came back to the proper conclusion.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, then of course, I am going to do some exercises, and if you've got questions, just type them. I'll answer them when I can. All right.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.